But we were talking about how things work with Arden communities, and it makes sense. Your audience isn't necessarily going to align with a lease up cycle where they walk into a leasing office. Okay, 2 hours later, they've signed the lease and they're moving in next week. These aren't 26-year-olds bouncing around everywhere. These are adults. They, potentially are leaving a home. They maybe have a family. There's a lot of baggage, probably literally and figuratively. And so I'm curious how that leasing process actually plays out for you, with those sort of cards on the table, knowing all of that.
For sure. So, there might be a handful of residents that fall in love immediately, but that's not the norm. The active adult cycle is a little bit longer than a traditional apartment home. It's also a little bit longer in some regards of senior living too, because senior living is typically more of a needs based, right? Something happens, they need to move in. So again, we're in that interesting space in between where it is needs based. It's just a different needs base in the sense that people need people. So they might be moving in for community. That cycle is going to vary based on people, but again, take longer because you might be downsizing a home, right? Like you said, and it is typically the actual active adult making that decision. The people that we're on the
Mm,
phones with are the person thinking about where they want to be. And it's so important for them to be there because, again, they want to shine too. Where are they going to thrive? So they're going to be looking at more places usually where a renter for a traditional apartment home might be like, I want to be close to this office because I'm working
yep.
and I want my commute to be this time and it needs to have a pool because I love a glass of wine at sunset by the pool. Check. These are my credentials.
Right. Exactly.
Where, yeah, where, for example, one of our communities, I have a couple that they have three kids and so they could be near any of those three in that Charlotte metro. And so that leaves a lot of opportunity because they're like, I want to be near some of these kids, that kind of thing. But you think about what is the best floor plan for what they're living for. But what is that vibe? I always say that your vibe attracts your tribe and that you
Mm,
can find in that community. Um, and one thing I do think is so interesting, I think I told you this as well, is last year I got to speak with a lot of residents at one of our communities, and out of 75 of them, only one person actually mentioned specifically the apartment home.
oh
So they're like,
wow.
"Oh yeah, I love the fixtures are great." They can't be bad by any means, but it's the programming that's important. Like what kind of events? Well, it's going to be the staff that's got to be fantastic, the location, it's all of those other things. It's not going to be just one factor. So it's definitely a different pre-leasing process than other places.